about it, really what's so interesting about technology, not really about the technology when I think about it, it's really what the technology allows the people to do. You know, it's really like, what is the behavior that changes it? So I think a lot of people sometimes always get too focused on the app, on the tool, on the thing, and not really what is that tool enabling the people to do. And usually what happens when that happens is that people usually focus on old behaviors, and then they just try to figure out how this new technology can answer old behaviors, rather than focusing on what are the new behaviors. So I think specifically with things like TikTok, or I think what we're sharing, like the change, let's say in Airbnb, to the more visual model, I think that's just really the trend that we've been seeing over the past few years, but being accelerated more by newer applications, more visual, things being served more quickly. I mean, obviously from the millennials to the Gen Y to the Gen Z, the speed at which things need to be delivered obviously are becoming faster and faster. Attention spans are becoming smaller and smaller. Obviously, that's why Ben was saying 300 feet, you know, because again, the average time they were saying that a Facebook post, an Instagram post, or a TikTok is in your screen is around 1.6 seconds. I mean, so that's why you hear the term stopping and the like, right? So I think when I think about it, when you talk to people about content and marketing, it's always about what is the behavior. And then for me, those are the things that I think about specifically. So let's say for TikTok, the behavior that I'm seeing specific about the B2B, I do watch the pool cleaning videos though. They're very interesting, and the power washers. So have you seen those power washing videos? And you know, so satisfying.
That's true.
But,
I have same one.
yes. So but basically what they are, I don't know if it's, I didn't create this term, it's a buzzword, it's called edutainment, right? So edutaining content. And that's what TikTok has allowed people to do. You know, I think what the beauty of TikTok is not actually the app, but it's, if you've used it, it's the creator tools. It's how easy it is to edit videos, add music, you know, make quick cuts. It makes it so easy for anyone to make brilliant 30-second short videos. Someone who's never made videos before can now make videos that are edutaining to peoples of all ages. So I think it's that type of thing. Another thing, because that we're looking at when I was thinking about in the Philippines, is what are people using, and more on where are they getting their education? Because I think specifically for, let's say, B2B and the like, it's a lot of tutorial videos. That's what I always see. And videos, I think for me that's really the trend. So not necessarily TikTok, but I think videos is really becoming huge because of the way people learn better from it. Hopefully, I guess that doesn't lead to some illiteracy moving forward for the future generations, really. But that's why in the Philippines, what's actually so huge is YouTube. I was talking to my dad. I was interviewing some of the new people that joined our company, and I was asking them, you know, where do they learn, what do they do their stuff, and they say, where do they search? They search on YouTube. And a lot of people actually said YouTube is actually the second largest search platform in the entire world. So it's Google and then YouTube, of course, but they own Google, and Google owns it, right? But YouTube in itself is a search platform, and that's where people learn how to cook, learn where to find stuff and everything. So there are those types of trends as well, you know, that we're looking at. So when talking to a business, again, so it depends on what type of business they are and where they are, obviously. So I'm speaking obviously from the perspective of a Filipino in the Philippines. So in the Philippines, let's say if I was talking to someone who's doing retail, it's kind of hard to tell them to not be on the e-commerce applications. I was talking to Lynn and to Mary last night. What's a trend that I feel will be coming are the super apps. So I think right now the expectation is that everyone still uses Google, but it's not because Google is big, but it's because Google owns the browser. Google owns Safari, I mean, it's just the default. Sometimes you don't even know we're using Google, but more often than not, if you're going to go on a browser, you will type on the tab bar, then that's why Google is so huge. But now, as you see younger people moving out of browsers and jumping more on applications, and I think that's what Christian was talking about, the decentralization of the search, but that's also the decentralization of the experience and everything. So for retail, you gotta kind of tell them they need to how to learn how to use Shopee, Lazada, and the like. For more B2B stuff, we're telling them again, what do people need to know about that type of businesses? Learn from the expos. Why people, I think in the Philippines, one of the hugest investments people still make are going to conventions and expositions. And what do they like? So how does that translate to the online? That translates to imagery, videos, and the like. Yes?
I have a question.
Snap. You haven't mentioned
don't. So Snapchat didn't really. It was alive in the Philippines for maybe a couple of a year. And then once Instagram stole stories from it, everyone on Snapchat jumped to Instagram. At least in the Philippines. I'm not sure what the experience was like in the US. I think in the US there are still some people using Snap, but in the Philippines specifically, once Instagram stole its core feature, most of the people jumped to Instagram.
And there's a Snap map, right? Do you know about that?
I'm not. So again, since we don't use Snapchat in the Philippines,
Okay.
it's not as big yet.
Yeah, that's went through a lot. Yeah, I think Snap. Everybody talks about Snap in the Middle East. I'm not a Snap. Okay.
So
Too old.
obviously, I think. Sorry, I've been rambling. I don't know how long I've been rambling. Apologies. So.
It was very good rambling.
But again, as I said, I'm not an expert. I don't know all the applications. I was talking to Lynn, and I think one of the things, look at the China market, look at all the applications that they're making. Definitely, I mean, Elon Musk just said, after he bought Twitter, he wants to make Twitter into WeChat. I mean, that's basically what Elon Musk said in some interview that I saw. So, looking at China and all the different...
So I don't think that it's going to get big.
but you know, I mean, so definitely the advice for us as marketers, be as aware of things. Obviously not everything will work, but obviously just be aware of all the new trends. Not everything will pan out. There are a lot of novelties, definitely. But I think that's always trying it out. I remember my boss before told me favorite motto, think big, start small, move fast, right? So think big, try everything, but start small, pilot, test, check it out, don't spend too much on it. But then once it works, move fast, execute, get it out, and see and make sure that those are the things that work. So those are the things, again, so it's not a very straightforward answer, but so look at the behavior, look at what applies to the different markets, and then just be aware. Never stop learning. That's why these conferences are always so great. I learned so much from everybody. And that's just, I think, the best way to be able to always make sure we're serving our S&P partners properly.
Yeah, I would add to that, and it's the same thing as whether it's TikTok, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Google, Amazon, we always look for the quick integration. So when we start to see, TikTok's taken off, we make sure we integrate it very quickly with TikTok. We don't know how we're going to necessarily use that from a website into the social media, but we do know there's a high demand for it. So,
and that's what the apps are trying to do. But as well, they're also trying to stop as well, because as you see, TikTok has stores. You can buy directly from the video. You can buy directly from the image. So you can see that yes, they're trying to find ways to. Of course, they don't want people to leave the platform. So that's always just a thought again of what are the generation, the people. And again, depends on the industry. What are they using and interacting specific to that industry.
When you were talking about TikTok yesterday, how you go down the rabbit hole and you spend 2 hours looking at these entertaining videos, it made me think that, for my generation at least, it seems that we go to YouTube, and that's the type of thing that we would use, as opposed to TikTok. So are you seeing this as a generational thing, so Generation Z, the millennials, as opposed to boomers and seniors, Gen Xers maybe doing a little bit of both, or how are you seeing this?
I think definitely TikTok is a lot more catered definitely to the younger generation, just because of how the type of content that's there and the way it's served. It's so quick. YouTube, but again, I think YouTube because it's a totally different thing. As I said, TikTok is not going to replace YouTube, and which is why YouTube just integrated their own version, which is Shorts. But long-form videos will always be there, will always have a purpose for other specific things. I'm sure there are boomers too that use TikTok. If you go on TikTok, there are a lot of people there.
Yeah, I actually I watch TikTok too, but I never would have thought to use TikTok as a source to how power wash my.
Absolutely.
I would go to YouTube, so it's just not in my wheelhouse to think of TikTok that way. It's more of an entertainment, short entertainment type of thing before I go to bed or something, I'm scrolling through it or something.
Absolutely. So I think it really depends, but I think the point is, I think both generations will find reasons to go to both platforms right now. Me, I guess, being somewhere in the middle, and I I watch YouTube. I watch 30. By the way, get YouTube Premium. It will change your life.
You know what? 100% agree. It's the best
It-
online
I-
subscription you can ever
I
buy.
shame people when I see, oh, there are 2 ads. Oh, 2 ads again. So I shame them. So YouTube Premium. Well, I know some people say that but it'll change your life. Anyway, because I do watch long form YouTube videos. So, but there are different purposes, I believe. And so again, as I was saying yesterday, for a brand, you really need to be ready. You need to have content that's short, but you also need to have content that's long. I mean, that's just the burden that we have right now is you have to have the effort to make unique materials for every platform.
Yeah, that's exactly the point I was going to make. You know, the basics remain the same. There's a sender, there's the message, there's the medium, and then there's the receiver. The sender is your SMB, and the receiver is his customer. The money is actually in the medium, and that's what we're all focusing on. The real deal which actually works for the sender is the message, and the message has to be tailored for the medium.
Correct.
And I think a lot less focus is being paid to the message, but that's where UGC, the user-generated content, is actually taking over professionally created content, because that's getting more exciting.
Correct.
So, as marketers, I think our focus also has to come back to the message and not just stay around the medium, because medium dictates what the message should be in terms of its appearance, the container, but the narrative is really what's more important there.
I absolutely agree, Rajiv. I think since, again, my history, I used to work and make television commercials. I used to make billboards. Right. Does anyone still have billboards? Right. So, but again, absolutely. I think that's always the struggle. It's always, again, content. You know, it's just that the burden right now is that there's just so much content. Whereas before, I'd only have to compete with 20 billboards along a highway. Now you're competing with 20,000 across 1 minute, you know, of content in a feed, right? So how to do it? Obviously, challenge. You know, that's really the challenge for any marketer, for any agency, for any business, really. But that's why, you know, I think everyone has been saying this. You know, listen to your customer, know their behaviors, and just, I think, just try everything. You know, try all the platforms and see, as Rajiv was saying, how are they being presented in there, but then don't lose the main message that you want, you know, that you want to be able to communicate. How do you translate your message depending on the platform is really the challenge. I totally agree.
And invest into an agency that knows how to create good content.
Absolutely, because I think at the end of the day, you can have the best, you can spend $2 million on a Facebook, Google Ads, TikTok campaign, but you're not going to be, let's say, a homegrown organic video that just entertains and, you know, people more. So at the end of the day, that's it. And again, what TikTok has proved to me is that no matter what the business is, plumbing, you know, and roofing, nothing cannot be entertaining anymore. Everything can be entertaining, and that's the challenge.
You're talking about super apps, yeah? Like, you know, the WeChats and stuff like that. Why there's only one really successful super app in the world?
I think
Can anyone answer this question? It's kind of a funny thing.
I would think it's I think the way China is made as a country, and the way the companies work with the government could play a part. I don't know. I'm not speaking for it.
It does.
But I think because the problem, let's say in the Philippines, all the features are all, because again, it's a free market, so everyone has an opportunity to make. So when one application becomes popular, like especially in the pandemic, there was one food application, one delivery application. The next week there were like 100. So it's hard for people to flock to one, because again, since everyone is trying to jump on the trend and jump on whatever is making money, so the opportunity for it, or for brands like WeChat, you know, to be able to control everyone, for other countries where free market and competition is allowed, definitely is, I would believe, more challenging.
It's probably the closest is Grab now.
I think Grab in the Philippines definitely is the closest, because it has outlasted, and it has really expanded faster than all its competitors, at least in the Philippine market. Yeah.
Well, different because Grab is not free. You need license. You need the in the Philippines. You need a license to offer these services, taxi services. So it's regulated. So it's.
But I mean, like with regards to Super App, because like it was also like we saw Talk try to copy some features of it. Talk, Food Panda. What Deliveroo, so there are other apps copying some of the features, hopefully not all. The ride hailing definitely in the Philippines though, because the government was very instrumental in deciding which ride hailing app would stay. That's why Uber is gone in the Philippines. But with regards to other things, as in non-regulated things, that's what I would see obviously. But yeah, I definitely, as my dad would say, sometimes like the government and things that are related to things with licenses, those definitely would play a part in that.
Any other comments? Well, maybe now it's a 6 months plan.
Thank you everyone. Appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk. Thank you.
Before we finish, let me just give the.
Also quite involved in my Chamber of Commerce, and as such, I'm in these business councils in the region, so I'm an ASIA Business Council member. I'm actually the GMS Business Council Director. There's a thing called ACMIS as well, and there's also some Indian business councils. So these are the business councils that are formed by the government and managed by the Chamber of Commerce. And what's been happening in this region is it's a term called, and I was quite surprised, quite a lot of people haven't heard about it. It's called the RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, which is the biggest trade deal in the world by far. 15 countries, Australia's in it, but it doesn't include America or India. But the power of China is just amazing. So for the last 2 years, any of these business councils, which has a lot of government people, as well as the World Bank, ADB, IIBB, have been working on this, and now it was signed in November of last year. But there's only 3 things. I was this week, last week I was on an ADB meeting, the week before I was on a GMS meeting, and this with the government, you see ministers and so on, and ASIA economic ministers. There's only 3 things that have ever been discussed in these meetings, and that revolves. It's the digital economy and SMEs, yeah, and the RCEP is the thing that triggers that. You go to any of these government meetings that are focused on developing the private sector, it's this, the digital economy and SMEs, yeah. So every time I do these meetings and I get asked, I says, well, what do you do about SMEs and so on. So I say, look, the fundamental points of SMEs is you transfer small businesses so they become medium businesses to be large businesses, yeah. And the problem that we seem to be having in SMEs is how do you classify it? And I've been working on this, I'm trying to figure this out because I'm a listing expert, yeah. When I'm a listing expert, I like to classify businesses. Who are they? Is it the amount of people that's there? Yeah, is it the amount of revenue that they have, or the number of workers? In the Myanmar was how much horsepower you had, yeah? That would determine if you were an SME. So I always trying to find a way to, how do we classify these businesses, yeah? And I think we're the best people to do it. So as an association, is it possible with the government and every talking about RCEP that we can go to businesses and say, okay, this is the biggest trade deal. What does it mean? It basically means we will put you in touch with other businesses around the country, yeah? And look, I think I hear it. I'll give you one. Don't forget it, but I'll try it. Does anybody know what GJ5812 is? Right, that is in the the United Nations Business Classification, and it describes our business. Yeah. So when you do these regional meetings, it's all about. So when you go and ask SMEs, yeah, what do you need to develop? There's only 3 answers that they say. We need a market. We need financing, and we need the technology. That's all they need. While we sort of like well placed to work together, this is just come to my mind as well. You know, like the smart places that Trevor was talking about, yeah? To be able to get together and say, right, it comes to the region, when it's talking about dealing and doing trading with each other countries, we're the guys in our market who understands what the classification is, yeah? So, you know, you could probably say, so with my listings, all my listings has these classifications. So if I was typing J5812 globally, yeah, how many directory publishers would be coming? And then that's just the start. So I like to just pass that as a thought, meaning what is the opportunity over here? You know, it's so weird, we started off with the ABCs and, you know, and everything goes digital. But is there a chance that we'll go back to the full circle again, yeah? Will we not be the industry leaders to decide or to show through our relationships with our clients in the business classification, yeah, who they are, how many they are, and what size that they are. So that's just sort of like food for thought. Thank you.